Ebola. We have Dr. Juliet Ophia, aka Dr. Julz of Health Matters, here on 99.3 Nigerian FM. And today she is on the panel like she was last Wednesday. Good morning, Dr. Julz.
Hello, Sheil.
It's good to have you. Speaking to your microphone. There's no Ebola on the microphone, don't worry. Don't stay away from the microphone. It's amazing how we make jokes about everything in this part of the world, yeah? Have you seen the pictures?
The pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Of course I have.
Everyone's seen them.
Yes, it's quite devastating. And, you know, I know there's a bit of a mass hysteria going on.
Mm-hmm.
And talking to the first vice chairperson of the Association of Public Health Association of Nigeria yesterday, Dr. Odubanjo, he was even saying that we have to face this aggressively. So if people are really aggressive and using hand sanitizers and washing their hands, let them do that. Anything that will protect you from the disease.
Will reduce the risk.
You understand? People shouldn't get offended by that, because we have to work together to fight this. It's not a one-man war at all. We have to put all hands on deck on this one. And hopefully you guys have been talking about the symptoms, so people can identify them. We're talking about fever, we're talking about headaches, we're talking about sore throats and muscle pains. When we talk about these things, people are like, this is almost like malaria now. You know, so we are in an endemic area for malaria, but we have to take it a step further to investigate these people, because we want to ask some particular questions. Have there been any history of recent travels? Like people traveling in from neighboring countries. We're talking of Sierra Leone, you're talking of Guinea. You know, if you're just traveling in from a neighboring West African country, you want to have a high index of suspicion with that patient, okay? And like we have all seen, it is my colleagues that are at risk. You know, people that are in direct contact with the sick. Okay, so people are talking about, oh, you're in a bus, you're sitting next to somebody's coughing. It is not airborne. Okay, somebody sneezes. If not, everybody in the plane with Mr. Patrick Sawyer would have caught it. Would have caught the disease, but it is not airborne. Okay, so you don't have to be scared. People are talking about people's sweat. Okay, you're worried about the sweat. Okay, then this is not the season for the spaghetti straps and the see-through singlets, because it's not only it's not only ladies that wear sleeveless. So you don't want to wear that. You want to wear protective clothing. And you know, don't panic. Just do your share. You want to carry your hand sanitizers on your person. And if you know of anyone that was on the flight, you want to alert. We have the numbers.
Yes, right? Yes. We're going to give those numbers out again. Okay,
so you want to first and foremost, you want to report yourself and take yourself to the nearest public health
and take yourself
center.
Out of the situation. It's not just about you. It becomes about everyone you come in contact
around you,
with,
your loved
family,
ones,
your loved ones, all of them.
So this is not the time to play denial. You don't want to stay at home and like, oh, they shouldn't see me vomiting. They should. No, you know.
We're going to highlight a few things. You know, with Dr. Julz now before the 9 o'clock world news, we'll go through the basic symptoms. You know, the cause of the illness, how the virus can be contracted, some of the basic things. We're also going to, because I know last week we touched on the fact that it's not a death sentence. Some people have actually survived this, and I think if we also hammer that point, it would encourage people who might be showing some symptoms. It would encourage them to at least come out and seek care and seek treatment. All right, and Dr. Odubanjo, who Dr. Julz talked about, would also be having with us on the show via our telephone line. So we're going to call Dr. Odubanjo. He is the first vice chairman of the Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria, the Lagos chapter. Now, talking about people not being frightened, I think one thing that would install confidence or help people calm down is if they see physical infrastructure, if they see that, you know, government is taking steps to protect the borders, you know, at the airports, at the border entry posts. If they see that people, you know, are being screened as they come in, if they see that there's centers, visible centers in the local government areas where they can go to get information, get tested and all of that, that will assure people. So if there's anything that we want to get from Dr. Odubanjo today, it's what sort of infrastructure is the Ministry of Health and in collaboration with the state governments putting on ground to assuage, is that the word? I think, people's fears.
Yes, because speaking with the representative of the Special Advisor to Public Health in Lagos State, that's Dr. Yewande Additional, they were talking about the series of intense meetings that they are having, talking about, purchasing large quantities of these protective gears that he just mentioned, talking about the counseling of, people in the local government areas. On my way to work this morning, I saw even our public health center here, they have a town hall meeting and they want to really emphasize on the Ebola virus, which is fantastic. So they are taking action. Even the council, custom officers, the immigration officers, they are being, the awareness is being created so that they can identify those early symptoms and, will I say, screen the people that come into the country as effectively as possible.
So the basics of what Ebola is, just we can't do enough of that.
Over and over again.
Well, Ebola is a virus that was discovered in the Republic of Congo in 1976. It is, they first found them in these animals like the fruit bat that we keep mentioning and the monkeys. And you can only get them if you are in contact with these animals. So it's not like, when we talk about carriers, as the animals are
transmitters,
yes, of this virus, but if it's in a human being, the person becomes sick. So unlike we know of the HIV virus, somebody can live, a fairly stable life with it, and you transmit it to somebody else, and you are in a good state of health. Here, Ebola, you have to be sick to be able to transmit, this disease. So it is the caregivers, the people that are really close to you when you are ill, that are, at risk. So I just want to say at this point that people that are making mini clinics and having chemists and playing doctor, you don't want to do that at this time. And people travel into the country because of maybe somebody is professing that they can do some miraculous healing and stuff like that. Counseling has gone as far as talking to the pastors, the healers.
Have they visited the Association of Native Doctors?
We would ask Dr.
They should, because a lot of people go to the native doctors. Yes. I'm not joking.
Because, when you hear on my wall, I heard all sorts of things like bitter cola. Somebody went as far as saying, if you mix gunpowder and honey and take it in the morning and in the evening. I mean, come on, guys. I think we have graduated to the level, we have more informed Nigerians now, and I would like to believe that they would not believe some of these things. But, like I said, it's a virus, just like when you have a flu, a viral flu, it runs its course, okay?
So viruses don't have cures?
They don't have cures. What we try to do is create a vaccine, okay?
That'll stop you from getting it in the first place.
No, the vaccine will help your antibodies to develop a fighter. Yes, your immune system to fight that virus. Okay. So that's what vaccines do. So they get the antibodies from an animal that can fight or live with the virus and try to replicate it in our bodies. Okay?
That's what they did with the serum, actually.
The ZMAP. Okay, that's what they are doing actually.
Yes, and
but there've not been any human trials though.
But so, these two now are the trials.
Yes, and right.
I'm going to when we come back after the 9 o'clock news, I'm going to allow Tolu, give us the conspiracy theory behind this ZMAP thing and the questions and concerns that surround it. If indeed there is an experimental drug, whether it's experimental or not, if some people have taken it and they're showing signs of improvement, why wasn't this thing tested earlier? And why wasn't it tested on patients in Africa, in Sierra Leone, in Guinea, in Liberia? Why the 2 US aid workers, and why was it that this drug was tested on them when they got transferred to the US? So a lot of questions are being asked, and this sort of information or detail only stokes the fire of conspiracy theories.
And I also want Dr. Julz to talk about ground zero, because we do know that humans can get it from, as we said, fruit bats and bushmeat. But for this particular outbreak, which is now seen as the biggest in history, there's no ground zero. They have not been able to identify either the first 1, 2, or 3 victims, and then how it spread out from that, which is a dangerous thing if we don't know where it started from, how it spread, because the future is ahead of us, and without a vaccine, it could happen again.
The theory that they have is that somebody fell ill after a burial. So they're assuming that that person that died of the Ebola virus in the first place, and that's how the whole thing started.
So,
but how that person got it,
yeah.
yes, is now
Well,
the question that was in
9 o'clock
Lot
world
going on.
news, and we'll be back. Stick around.